Legends and Leaders, where the biggest names and brightest minds in sports share their journeys from on and off the field. Hosted by Leo Lewis, former wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings and founder of the Lewis Sports Foundation. This podcast dives into the stories behind the success, from elite athletes to influential figures across the sports world. Get ready for powerful conversations that inspire leadership and legacy. And now to your host, please welcome Leo Lewis.
What's going on, everybody? All right. Thanks a lot. Hey, how you guys doing? Okay? All right, good. Well, my name's Leo Lewis, and this is Legends and Leaders. And we're going to have a series of guests. You know, certainly this first one is a person who's been in the Twin Cities for a while, been in some esteemed roles. I tell you what, but the best role that she has is a vice president for the Minnesota Vikings. I want to introduce to you one of my guests, Morgan Kennedy.
Thank you.
I am so elated that you're here, to tell you the truth.
You.
I know with this busy season with the Vikings.
The season has begun.
That's right. Yeah. They've got you really under their grips right now because it's really about the players, but individuals like yourself really make the organization go. So, Morgan, thank you for being here.
I'm so grateful.
I tell you what, it's interesting. We both know Martin Nance, who's a person that you respect and certainly report to. He's a former Viking.
He is.
And the person that hired you.
Yep.
He is such a nice guy, isn't he?
He is. Boss guy. He's truly the best boss that I've ever had.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm not just saying that because he might hear this, but truly he is.
Well, there are going to be people in the Twin Cities that will hear you say that.
I know they will, and they should, because Martin truly is one of a kind in terms of just his empathy, his leadership, his support, both in the community and in the business.
Well, thank you for being here. So we're here because I think one of the things that you've done is honored me with this Legends and Leaders broadcast and this podcast. And I think one of the things that appeals to me when it comes to you being part of the Vikings is that you're in such a good leadership role. Tell me a little bit about what your role is, because besides really directing a large staff, I want to know how you integrate yourself from day to day.
Yeah, I probably have, I think, the best job at the Vikings.
Okay.
I lead our partnerships and premium experiences team. So that's everything on the partnership side from all of our corporate partners. So if you think about a logo or a brand that you see with the Vikings anywhere, we are leading the relationship inside of the building. Everything from bringing their brands to life to the relationships that we have. We do the same thing on our suites and our club side with all of those partners. So that's the partnership side of my world.
Okay.
And then on the experience side of the world, lead everything from events and hospitality. So this is everything from the team that puts on the draft party and helps put on training camp to small private dinners with CEOs and our business. We lead all of our gifting strategy and merchandising for the organization. We also lead all of our guest experience work. So anytime you come into the stadium, what is that experience like and how do people experience it?
Well, you must have earned a bonus, because now I hear we're going to have the draft party in Minneapolis in a couple of years. What do you think about that?
It is just so exciting to be able to highlight Minneapolis as a center of just the football world for a moment in time, and to get to be able to showcase the city and everything that we've built as an organization and as a community is going to be really special.
Well, 800,000 people. Can we fit that in downtown Minneapolis like they did in Pittsburgh?
We have 2 years to plan. We have 2 years to plan.
Okay, well, great. I mean, what an honor, what a achievement certainly for you and your staff. Do you have to hire extra staff, do you think?
Well, one, we work with Minnesota Sports and Events.
Okay.
They really lead the work with both the league and with the Vikings to bring it to life. So there's a huge amount of people and organizations and partners involved in what it's going to mean to bring it to life. So it is not a one organization show by any means.
Of course,
a lot of people are going to come together to bring it.
And you're behind the scenes, and that's where all the action really is. And you want to bring to life this whole aura of the NFL, the National Football League. And at one time, this was a dry experience, this draft. I mean, who cares?
Well,
But you guys have made it a kind of a lived experience for 3 days. Tell me how that happens. How do you guys really maneuver through those 3 days?
Yeah, I would say the first thing is the NFL overall has done a really good job of bringing kind of 360 programming to what football is. So it's not just when people are playing the game, but it's all of the off season too. And so the draft really represents an exciting time for fans to really start to understand who's my team, who are we picking, where are we going, what are we thinking about. So that kind of really kicks off the energy into the year. But everything from we've got teams at the Vikings that work on the content. There are teams obviously on the football side working on the team. We put together an event at US Bank Stadium every year. And so just a variety of teams coming together to really make up the moment really special. And I think it's really special going back to who are the Vikings for me as a fan? Like there's so much identity tied into being a fan that it gives a moment to be like, who's part of my crew this year? And so I think that feels really special.
Wow. Well, before we get into your connection with the Denver Broncos.
Oh, yes.
I want to make sure that we know a little bit more about you because you went all the way east to get more credentials and then came back. But what was it about Minneapolis? Target, other companies. Tell me a little bit about how that scenario worked out where we landed here in the Twin Cities.
Well, I would, to your point, I grew up in Colorado, so we'll get back to the Colorado stories. But I went and got my MBA from the University of Virginia, and I really wanted to just broaden my network, understand what was out there, see the world differently. From there, I worked in private wealth at Lehman Brothers in New York. And, in 2008, when the financial crisis hit, Target actually found me. I came here. I started in finance there in their finance leadership development program. I was going to be here for 6 months, and then I was going to go on. I was like, I don't know anybody in Minnesota. I moved here in November.
Yeah, I was going to say, what 6 months did you?
Dark, and I was like, I am going to be out. But then you know what? The sun shines, the heat comes out, the people are incredible, and it just became a place that really felt like home. And so I spent a 14-and-a-half-year career at Target on everything from finance all the way through marketing and helped lead a partnership center of excellence there and all of our sports work. And then really just I had my kids here, so my kids were born here. So
they're Minnesotans.
They're Minnesotans. So we have a connection to here for forever. So it really was a combination of being able to grow as a person and a professional, as well as really think about the community here and how big and bold it is and how I could contribute back to it.
And with the NFL and its brand, it's probably not that difficult for you to convince some of these big corporations to get involved. They've been involved for a long time. We've got a good brand here. What is it that you need to do to continue to get them excited every year about connecting with the Minnesota Vikings?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things we think about. The first thing is really on the business side. How do we help them drive their business? This is a business relationship as part of it. We have a captive audience week after week, not only a live audience in the stadium, but people who are watching on social and on TV. So we have a captive audience that really helps us deliver messaging to fans and helps them drive their business. And on the other side, it's a relationship business. How do you build relationships with some of the top people and companies and really, again, help them solve problems that make being a partner with the Minnesota Vikings really special?
Have you felt any difficulty doing that? Or is it pretty much, we're the NFL, we've got a good product here. We're all over the country. Now we're international. We're going to 10 international games, What has there been any difficulty that you can think of?
I would think just overall, it's always just the state of the market, right? You're making trade-offs with other ways in which you can reach fans. We have a really big sports environment here in Minnesota and entertainment. We have the most seats per capita in theater here. And so you're always fighting for attention and dollars in a way that you've got to provide that best experience and the best results for your partners.
Yeah. And, one of the products are your players.
Yep.
They're always a product. I found that out a few years ago where not only are they an employee, they are the product of the Minnesota Vikings.
That's right.
And do you find yourself at that level where you deal with them on a day-to-day basis, or is this more of a corporate relationship and experience for you?
Yeah, on my side, it's more of a corporate one. I'm not as intimately involved day to day with the players and the partners. But to your point, it's a big part of what the brand is who our players are. And on the content side, we do a really good job of like helmets off content, getting to know the players, who they are, their personalities, their brands. And I think that really endears people back to the brand because they care about the people and they feel like they know the players. And that's a huge part of how we do part of that business.
Well, sometimes, I get some people that I don't know call me Leo, like they know me.
Yeah, they do know you. Don't know them, but they know you.
Yes, I know, and that's part of it, right? I mean, you've got to make sure fans have an opportunity to say to themselves, we have a stake in the wherewithal of this organization, right?
Yeah, I think I mentioned it earlier, but I think the most special thing that I get to do every day is work behind the scenes to help people think about who they are. Like their identity is tied to the Vikings. They grow up as a fan, the stories they tell, the way they connect with the different generations or their kids, or at this moment this thing happened. Like it's a huge part of how people experience their life and time, and to be able to be a small part of that is really special.
Yeah. Great. Well, let's get back to the whole Colorado issue.
How did I know that was going to come
This is a talented woman. This is a very talented woman. And I'm not just talking about, intellectually. She has a history that I'm really fond of. I mean, you were Miss Colorado, right?
Oh, yep, I was.
And growing up in Colorado, that takes on some different talent, not football talent, but some different type of talent. And then you went on to become a Denver Broncos cheerleader, right?
I was, yeah. So
Let's give her a little hand here. She's a pro too on the field.
Yes.
But again, since then, though, you've made a career of yourself and raised a family. Yes. And now you're following little athletes, right? Tell me a little bit about those two children of yours.
Two kids. So one, I have a 12-year-old boy and a 7-year-old girl. Both of them, they're in Chinese immersion. So both very intellectually curious kids. My son's a competitive soccer player. My daughter does competitive gymnastics. So but that competitive spirit is in them, and spend a lot of time driving them to those events.
And they've got. Do you have an opportunity to tell them about your history?
They want. They think they do not care.
So you're not saying boy, child, girl, child. I used to be a Denver Broncos cheerleader.
Oh, it's so funny. My daughter, she did this. She did a back handspring, and I was like, "Well, you've gotta." And I tried to coach her. She goes, "You ever done a back handspring?" And I was like, "No." She's like, "Well, then you don't know."
Oh.
So they check me all the time.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy to announce it, though. I think that takes a lot of effort. Obviously, I think anyone associated with the clubs, particularly the cheerleaders who put in just as much time. Certainly, I don't know if they put in as much time as they did when you were there.
I think they put in more time now. I think I was telling you, I am constantly impressed with the level of commitment and athleticism that comes out of our cheerleading organization. As you mentioned, I was a Denver Broncos cheerleader a whole lifetime ago, but I grew up as a dancer, and it was the place to then be able to go and perform in front of 60,000 people every week. And what that really showed me was the commitment people had to the community, how people rallied around the team. And that really started me on a path towards the role of sport in driving business and connection and community. And so it was a really fundamental time for me. And so now, anytime I can, I'm cheering those cheerleaders on too, as much as I am the players.
Well, they're part of the experience. There's no doubt about that. Before we leave, I want to tell you about these international games that the Vikings and NFL have entered into. I think it appears that it's a proven product. I think you're going to 10 games overseas this year, and the Vikings are proudly going to play in Mexico this year.
Yes,
tell me a little bit about the preparation for that, and why it seems to be a proven product.
I think there's a couple of things why international is important. The main one is how do we continue to keep growing the game?
Okay.
Not just here with younger audiences, but making the game continuing to grow means we're going to have to go international. And I think there is interest, especially with it being flag football being an Olympic sport in the next Olympics. There's a lot of interest and attention given to it. And so I think as the NFL moves into different markets, you're going to just kind of continue to see that conversation expand. In terms of Mexico City, so last year we were the first team to play back-to-back games in 2 different international cities. So I always say it was 3 cities in 3 weeks, 3 countries in 3 weeks. We did Dublin and we did London last year, and this year we're going to Mexico City. And first of all, Mexico City might be my favorite city on the planet, so I am very excited about it. But I think it's just really fun to be able to experience the fan base and a different fan base get really excited about the work that we do. And so I think it'll be a great trip.
Well, it is a good barometer. You know, if no one's coming to the games, then, you have to kind of change up your tactics and your strategies. So, again, Morgan, thank you so much for being here.
Of course.
For Legends and Leaders, we have Morgan Kennedy. We welcome her again. Thank you.
This has been Legends and Leaders with Leo Lewis. Stay connected with the Lewis Sports Foundation to see how these stories are making an impact beyond sports. Until next time, keep leading, keep growing, keep chasing greatness.